He's the author of Beach Money. He's your good friend, Mr. Jordan Adler.
All right. You guys having fun? Yeah. Well, some of you may be like me. I was a little stressed out in the back of the room. I don't buy leads. I don't have a squeeze page, never have. I don't do internet marketing. I don't sell programs. I have nothing to sell, actually. I don't make videos. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just I don't do it. I don't get paid to speak. I don't mass recruit. The only thing I know about traffic is that I'm not in it most of the time. And 100% of the profits from my book, Beach Money, goes to charity. And I make 100% of the money that I earn through network marketing, through my company. That's how I make my money. Now, there's nothing wrong with what was up here earlier today and yesterday. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you how I do it, okay? What's the best form of advertising? Or what's the best form of marketing? Is it advertising? No. What's the best form of marketing? Is it internet marketing? No. What's the best form of marketing? Is it postcard marketing? No. What is it? We all know that. It's word of mouth advertising. You know what? That's how it was 100 years ago. That's how it was 500 years ago. That's how it was 2,000 years ago. And that's how it is today. The best form of marketing is word of mouth marketing. The other ways of doing it are not bad. I'm just telling you how I built my business. But I do want to say this. I believe, and this is just my beliefs, that if you purchased a program here and you don't implement that fundamental, that word of mouth marketing is the most powerful form of marketing, your business will fall apart as fast as you build it. If you build a business just on the internet without the intention of talking with the people and developing a connection with those people, your business will have no heart. I'm not going to have time to do it, but I could actually tell you story after story after story of people that built on the internet whose businesses are gone couple, 3 years later. There's no sustainability. So Beach Money's not for sale. I don't want your contact information. I'm not going to add you to my autoresponder because I don't have one. And you're not a prospect. Beach Money is free to those that attended this event. So when we're done here from now until I think I have enough for everybody. But if you don't get one, just let me know and we'll get you one. But I've got a bunch of audiobooks and the copies of the books in the back. And you can just go back and pick one up from Megan. Where's Megan? Megan, can you stand up? That's Megan, my business manager and personal assistant. So please, if you've got a Beach Money book, you can pick up the audio from Megan. And if you've got the audio, pick up the book. But please only take one of either one of those. What is network marketing? This is the way I view network marketing. I think this is how it was designed. It's designed as a part-time business. Network marketing is designed to create a part-time income for a period of time till you can eventually replace your full-time income, whatever that is. It allows you to create a residual income that will eventually grow to meet your bills. It's you sponsoring a few people who sponsor a few people who sponsor a few people who each get a few customers, and combined there's volume that's created, and that's where your residual comes from. It's not about mass recruiting. Mass recruiting is not a good thing unless you have a way to build relationships with those people. And I'm not talking about an autoresponder. I have liked to apply, and you guys, you don't mind it if I don't sugarcoat here, do you? I'm just telling you how I do it. I'm not judging anyone else. I do know this. I could buy every one of those programs and I could listen to them and I would have a lot to learn from every single one of them. I can tell you that right now. I would learn a lot. Because most of that stuff I don't know. But the message I want to get across is that if you never bought one of those programs, you can still build a successful business because it's about a few who get a few who get a few. The 8-year-old test. If an 8-year-old can't do it and an 8-year-old can't teach it, I wouldn't do it. If you do it, it may be good for you, but it's not sustainable for the long term in terms of creating residual income, in my belief. There's this guy that I knew I met him when he had about 30,000 people in his organization. He grew a business of 2.5 million people. I watched him give the same speech for 13 years, the same 1-hour speech. His name was Steve Smith. And Steve stuttered, still does. He talks slowly, talks real slow. He's a Texan. He's a great guy. 2.5 million people. I've watched him in front of 10 people. I've watched him in front of 100, and I've watched him in front of tens of thousands of people at conventions given the same 1-hour speech. And it was about not quitting, and it was about sending in a form with a couple of customers, and the company sends you $100 back. And I watched him build a group from 30,000 to 2.5 million, and I thought, you know what? I like his simplicity. It's not heavy. It's easy for people to get. People go, I can do that. And if they communicate the same message and someone else says, I can do that, your business grows. Typically what I found, and there's very few examples that I've seen that really prove this different. But typically what I found is things that grow really, really fast die young. Look at I'm not going to give a lot of examples, but the eucalyptus tree and an oak tree. Eucalyptus trees grow very, very rapidly. They're very inexpensive. They have a very shallow root system. They turn green really fast. People that, if you want to impress somebody, sponsor a lot of people real fast. You'll get a really fat check. But your organization will be very brittle because it grew fast. Nothing wrong with fast growth as long as you're able to build the roots. The taproot that goes hundreds of feet into the ground. An oak tree grows very slowly, but it's around for years. In fact, they live forever. Eucalyptus trees die very young. Oak trees have a taproot that goes hundreds of feet into the ground. It draws the nutrients in the water from deep under the ground. And it turns green, but it takes much longer. But it's rock solid and it lives forever. That's the eucalyptus, that's the oak tree. Things that grow fast die young. Populations of insects grow really fast. They're only around for a couple days, they're gone. The Great Dane is the fastest growing dog. It only lives for what, 5-6 years. Things that grow fast typically die young. So just be aware of that you must build roots in your organization. I'm not going to get into too many case studies right now, but if you look at the companies, with very few exceptions, that are $1 billion to $10 billion companies, they build through warm market. It's meeting new people and developing a relationship with those people. Word of mouth, social events, and meetings. I like to do it through fun. I like to do those things and have fun, and that's lifestyle marketing. That's how I've built my business. I don't have a lot of ways to build a business. I don't believe the answer will be found in the how-to. Here's proof. And I'm not going to ask any of you to raise your hand, but I will say this, that most of the people that have been around network marketing for 10 years, that stayed in it for 10 years, most of them aren't making money. And they've been to seminar. I was one of them. They've been to seminar after seminar after seminar. They've bought the programs, they've listened to them, and all those programs teach them how to build the business. And they're still not making money. Let's say I was the best bicycle trainer in the world. I'm the #1 bicycle trainer in the world, and you guys all want to learn to ride a bicycle, and you've never ridden before. And I have the best bicycle rider in the world with me, Lance Armstrong, and we bring you into the classroom, and I train you on how to ride a bicycle for the next 8 hours with Lance, giving real-life examples. And we have the best PowerPoints and the best videos, and afterwards we go out into the parking lot, and I say, now we're all going to ride. You've never ridden before. What's going to happen to all of you? You're all going to fall. Now, as long as you don't quit, some of you will get it in 5 minutes, some of you get it in a week, but all of you will be able to ride. The moment you get something, and it starts with a B, what is it? Balance. But the only way you can get balance is to do what? Get on the bicycle. What's that? Right. Get on the bicycle and ride it. That's how you're going to get balance. It can't be taught in a classroom. And it's the same in your network marketing business. Until you actually do it, you're not going to ever get it. I mean, really do it. Like dive in and do it. No program's going to give it to you. No training. Most people can learn everything they need to learn in a matter of a few hours to build a successful business. I've seen people that have no skills build a successful network marketing business. You know what else I love about what's been going on here today, the past couple of days? Is I've got people in my organization that are really good at that stuff. I'm not into it. I'm not interested in it. But they're in my organization, and they are. And if you're into it, great. You may be somebody that wants to do it. But you know what? You get to benefit because there's lots of different ways to build a business. You get to benefit. When you build a big organization, when your organization has 10 or 20 or 50 or 100,000 people in it, there will be people in your downline that will do it completely different than you. You'll never get them to do it your way, but you get to benefit from what they do. And that's the beauty of what we're doing. So I decided recently, it's a long story, I won't go into it, but I decided recently that I wanted to try and do something that I consider to be impossible for me. I just decided I was going to take on a challenge that I believed to be impossible for me. And I decided to fly helicopters. I decided to learn how to fly a helicopter. And so I've done 17 hours. The first 15 hours of flying was I flew to Atlanta with 2 guys. We picked up a helicopter in Atlanta, and last week we flew over 9 states at 500 to 1,000 feet, and I held the controls and flew the helicopter for 15 hours of it. We stopped. No, thank you. But we stopped in different places. Well, day before yesterday in Las Vegas, I hovered for the first time. Now, here's what, this is the hardest thing. Honestly, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. So we're hovering at 3 feet above the ground, and my flight instructor is 23 years old. His name's Travis, and he looks like Garth from Wayne's World. And he even wears the same glasses. I'm holding the cyclic, and he said, if you can keep it within, as soon as I let go, he says, when you're holding the cyclic, if you can keep it within a football field, I'll buy you a pizza. That's what he said. And I'm telling you, I took that control, and I was like, and we were all, and he grabbed it, and like a split second, it's like this. And you know what he said after we did it 4 or 5 times, and I couldn't get it? He said, I can't teach you how to do it. I can't teach you how to do it. You just got to keep doing it until you get it, and once you get it, it'll be like riding a bicycle. That's how network marketing is. That's how network marketing is. So and I'll share with you how I got it and when I got it. There's nobody that will be able to teach it to you until you do it and you get it. And when you get it, you got it for the rest of your life. You can do it with any company. The power of one more. This is network marketing, guys. This is network marketing. You get 3. In a perfect world, we get 3, who get 3, who get 3, who get 3. And then I know there's binary programs and there's different types of hybrid programs, but we're just going to use this as an example because it applies to all the programs. 3 who get 3, who get 3, who get 3 would put 2,187 on your 7th generation. If your first level are your kids, your second level is your second kids, your grandkids, your third level your great-grandkids, 4th level, 5th level, 6th level, 7th generation, you'd have 2,187 people on your 7th generation. That's if everyone got 3. If everyone got 4, in other words, if everyone got 1 more, see, in the job world, we play the game of addition, where the difference between 4 and 3 is what? 1. In the network marketing world, we play the game of multiplication. The difference between 3 and 4 is not 1. The difference between 3 and 4, and it's not going to come up on the screen, you'll just have to write it if you want to, but 4 who get 4, who get 4, who get 4 on the 7th generation is 16,000. It's as if everybody just gets 1 more. If everybody gets 5, everybody goes out and just sponsors 5 people. Everybody gets 5? The difference between 5 and 3 in the job world is 2, but in our world, the difference between 5 and 3 is not 2. The difference between 5 and 3 is 74,000 plus people because it's 78,000 people on your 7th generation. If everybody just gets 1 more, 5. Remember, this business, network marketing, is about you getting a few, who get a few, who get a few, who each get some customers. Now, in the real world, it doesn't work like this, does it? How many of you have sponsored 5 people and have 78,000 down on your 7th generation? No. But what if you didn't sponsor 3 or 4 or 5? What if you sponsored 2 a month for 2 years, working part-time? 2 a month. Not 20 a day, 2 a month for 5 years, working part-time. What are the chances of creating the equivalent of a 3x3, which would produce a pretty decent income for you? So in 1981, I was sleeping on the floor of the Urban Cowboy couple on the left there. That couple right there, I was sleeping on their floor for 2 years. And it doesn't seem like every person that's ever been successful has a story like this. They were in their car, sleeping in their car. They're sleeping on their wife's parents' floor, whatever. Well, I moved to Arizona with a guitar, a suitcase, and $250. David was a friend of my ex-girlfriend, and I slept in it on the floor I had a pillow and a blanket. I didn't even have a mattress. I couldn't afford a bed. He actually financed my first bed. It was a water bed. It was $400, and the guy there with the cowboy hat on financed my first bed. I signed up with companies. I was an entrepreneur in my heart. I grew up in a non-entrepreneurial family. I worked jobs. I was making, at the time, I was getting involved in network marketing companies. I was making about $20,000 a year with different jobs. Got a degree in landscape architecture. I was in Dr. Hill's potentized spirulina. I was in Nishika 3D cameras, Amway twice. I was in Equinox and prepaid legal. I'm still a customer 29 years later. I'm still a customer of prepaid legal. Yeah. 10 years in network marketing, read every book that I could get my hands on, total income earned, zero amount of money spent, probably $30,000, and every one of them I thought there was something wrong with the program or there was something wrong with the market. I didn't figure out for a while that really the problem was me, because I was the only common denominator in all the programs. I was living in Tempe, Arizona, right on the Arizona State University campus in that little box on the left there. That was a $200 a month apartment in a house, and I drove a 1987 beat-up old Jeep Wrangler, and I was 34 years old. My job at the airline was paying me about $14,000 a year, working at America West Airlines. Oh, by the way, I'm shortcutting the story because I want to get into the content of my talk here, but these are the actual credit cards. Back then, some of you will remember this. If you had one credit card that had a $400 limit and you paid your bill on time, what would they do? They'd send you applications for more, and I'd fill them out. And I started getting credit cards in the mail, lots of them. And I started using those to get into all these different network marketing programs. And I built up, and then when the airline cut my pay from $28,000 a year down to $14,000 a year, I was using my credit cards. In fact, I knew Steve Stapp at that time. Steve knew me through all of this. Right, Steve? Through every bit of what I'm telling you. He knew me through all of it. We worked together at the airline. These credit cards I had, and I racked up $36,000 in debt on these credit cards. My accountant told me, by the way, my accountant's in Vegas right now. He texted me. My accountant told me that I had to file bankruptcy or figure out a way to make an extra $1,000 a month. I got involved with my 12th network marketing company around that time. My 11th, my 10 years, 11 companies, my 12th network marketing company at that time. I was living in, okay, I'm going to go back. That little box, if you were to walk into that apartment on the left-hand side through that window, if you were to have looked on the wall off to the left, right above my bed, you would have seen a graphic that looked like this. I took a big, fat black magic marker and I drew a grid on my wall, a 3-foot by 4-foot grid, and I put 100 squares, 10 by 10. And I was told by a guy who became my mentor, we never went into business together, but he said if I would go out and show my business 100 times, I would become financially independent. That's what he told me. And I decided I was going to show the business 3 times a week at Coffee Plantation there on the right side there, which was right downstairs in my office at America West Airlines. I was going to go down there 3 days a week. I didn't have any money. I didn't have money to buy. There was no leads. There was no internet. I didn't even have a cell phone. There was no internet back then, just yellow pads. And I sat at that coffee plantation, and 3 times a week I would draw out the plan. And I took my black magic marker, and on the wall I would write the date that I showed the plan. My goal was to show the plan 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now some of you are thinking in your mind, well, that sounds really old school. It's traditional, and I will tell you this, it works today the same way as it worked back then. It works as effectively. In fact, the $2 to $10 billion network marketing companies, most of them still do it this way. There's videos and things like that, and I use the videos, and I use video Skype, but the process is the same. It's presenting a very simple opportunity one-on-one to somebody and teaching them how to get started and helping them get started and then teaching them how to do the same thing. So I did this. Now imagine this, you guys. I was single at the time. I'd meet a girl and like her. I wasn't having fun at my job, so I wrote "have fun" at the top to remind me every night when I came home from work. I needed 20 customers to qualify, so in the upper right hand of the chart, I wrote "find 20" right above my bed. Every time I would share my business, I'd write a date, and I had to hold myself accountable to 3 presentations a week. So I put the dates in there, 9/21, 9/23, 9/25, and I did that. And then I met a girl, and oh, by the way, ED down on the bottom right there was executive director, which was our top position in the company at the time. If I became an executive director, I'd be making bank $10,000 a month, right? And so I had this above my bed, and I met a girl and liked her, true story, and I invited her to the house, and at one point I gave her a tour of the rental, you know, the kitchen, the bathroom, and here's the bedroom, and she looks over the bed and she sees this grid that says, have fun, find 20. And then, of course, she wants to know who's Ed down there at the bottom. My 12th company, I signed, now listen to these numbers, guys, because these are important. My 12th company, I sponsored 129 people in 13 years. That's 144 months. And my business grew to 85,000 distributors, and I earned $8 million in that company. That's from 129 people, which if you figure it out, it comes out to less than one person per month. Here's a statistic for you. Over 95% of my income came from 5 of those 129 people. And I'll challenge you to talk to people that have built large, successful, sustaining network marketing companies where they have an ongoing long-term residual income. Ask them, how many people have you personally signed up, and how many of those people does 90% of your business come from? You will find out that it's typically about 1 out of 30. So if you sign up 130 people, you're going to have 1 out of 30 of those that are going to be responsible for 95 to 98% of your income. So less than 1 distributor a month for 13 years. Jackie was my 16th distributor. Some of you know Jackie Ulmer. She'd never done network marketing before. She signed up some people who signed up some people. Our group grew to 12,000 people and 40,000 customers and made me my first million. Now, don't yell it out. Eric's probably getting nervous, like when's he going to start talking about cold market lifestyle? I'm doing that in a minute here. So I thought I could get through the story a little faster. Raise your hand if you know who that is. Just raise your hand. Okay, just about 5 of you. You all probably know who he is. Most of you do. This guy is the guy that in San Diego took those people up to the Hale-Bopp Comet to meet Jesus. Remember that? This is a sick example. I'm going to tell you right now, this is in poor taste. What I'm going to tell you right now is in poor taste, but it works. If that guy could get 36 people to do that, you certainly can get 36 people to do network marketing. This is very simple. Word of the mouth is the most powerful. You can get to anyone. You can meet anyone you want, anyone. If you write down who you want to meet, and meet them through your network. The most powerful asset you have is your network. It's important to meet and know a lot of people, but it's not as important as the relationships you build with the people that you do know. You always want to be expanding your list. By the way, Kathy Ireland's a lot taller than me, isn't she? Your ultimate goal. By the way, these answers are not going to pop up on your screen, so you'll have to write them down if you want them. You want to expand your list and get to know the people in it. You want to know as much as possible about those people, not just business-wise, but personally, and you want them to know what you do, and that you want them to get to know you. It's almost cliche in our business to say this, but I've got to say it. Number one, they must what? They must like and trust you. As simple as that is, most people operate their businesses in a way that will not allow people to like and trust them. If you go for the throat, whether it's from a lead or from Facebook or from someone you know, they're not going to like and trust you. They must know what you do. That's number 2. They must know what you do. Number 3, they must remember you. You got to do things that are going to allow people to remember you. If you talk to them one time, I'm going to tell you right now, most of my business from both companies, most of my distributors and customers came as a result of people that didn't sign up with me right away. And if you talk to them one time and you don't have a way to stay in touch with those people, they're going to go away. And they'll go with someone else when the timing is right. Most of the people don't sign up with you or are negative typically because the timing's not right. And most of the time they don't tell you the reason why they're not signing up with you. And number 4, probably the most important, is they must know that you what about them? Thank you. They must know that you care about them. So I was on the phone with a guy named Ray, who I signed up in the business. And Ray, I was getting ready to leave on a 2-week trip, and I didn't have time to train him. And so I said, Ray, the only thing I want you to do is I want you to make a list of 100 people, which he said he could do. I want you to write down 100 people that know who you are. He said he could do that. He said, the only thing I want you to do is to call each one of them and tell them that you were thinking about them and you were just calling to say hi. He goes, wow, that sounds a little weird. And I said, Ray, seriously, that's the reason why you're not successful. Seriously, because he was struggling. He's been struggling for years. He's in his late 40s. You've got to have and I don't know how many of you do this, but I keep a journal with me, and this journal right here, this is the actual journal right here. I've got, I don't even know how many of these, 30, 40, 50 of them. And whenever somebody's name pops into my head, it pops into my head, there's a reason it popped into my head, I write their name down. And that's my prompting to call somebody and tell them I'm thinking about them and just to say hi, to see how they're doing. A lot of times I don't get them, I just leave a quick message. Every day I call 3 to 5 people just to check in. Some days I don't because I'm on an airplane or something, but they're in my list, and while I'm driving, I'm going to be calling them on my hands-free. And I'll tell you what, if you do that without an agenda, if you continue to add people to your list through the people that you meet, and you show that you care about people, it will be very easy for you to approach people about the business. The glue that will make your income stick are the friendships that you build along the way. If you don't have those friendships in your organization will have no heart. Harvey Mackay in his book, how many have read Swim with the Sharks Without Getting Eaten Alive? You know what? The principles still apply. We don't use these things anymore, but the principles still apply. You can predict the future of someone's income by looking at the size of their Rolodex, but it's not just the size of the Rolodex, it's the quality of the relationships that you have with those people. So I restarted in 2004. I'm not going to get into the gory details, but 90% of the people that I've sponsored in my current company, I did not know when I joined my company. Did not know them. I've personally sponsored 230 people in 7 years, which comes out to about 3 per month, not mass recruiting. Gives me enough people that I have people to work with, but not so many people that I have to leave people in the dust. My organization has about 60,000 people and 230,000 customers. I started from scratch. Earned $8 million since 2004 without running a single ad, doing a single cold call, or buying a single lead, and I signed up as a distributor just like everyone else. I did not get a deal. I'm not the master distributor. There's other legs in our organization. So number 1, key formula, really important. You got to have fun. If you don't enjoy it, it's not, no matter how good you are at it, it's not going to be sustainable. You got to have fun. Number 2, you want to involve other people in your fun. You want to involve other people in the fun you're having. And number 3, show others how you fund your fun. F-U-N-D, fund. Show others how you fund your fun. My talk is about lifestyle marketing. See, what I do is I put myself in situations where I meet new people. In my back pocket here, these are some of the business. Now, you know why? Do you know how many of you have a business card? Raise your hand. Now, look at this. In a technology world, how many of you don't have a business card? Raise your hand. Do you guys, is it that you don't use them or that you just haven't ordered them yet? Do you guys use them or no? No? Okay, most people, most business owners today, most entrepreneurs today, if they have a business, they print a business card. Why do they print business cards? Because they want to give them away. In fact, if you ask somebody for their business card, they'll give you 3. They can't wait to give you their business card. That's why people print business cards. So I put myself in situations where I'm going to meet people that have business cards. That's what I do. That's some of what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. But that's what I do, and these people all become friends first, and I don't even call them prospects. I call them potential distributors, because a prospect is someone you go after. Anyway, I won't get into that. But so what you want to do is you want to look for ways to have fun with the people that are in your life. And people want to hang around other people that have fun. Number 1, shop for your dreams. That's the helicopter, by the way, that we flew across the country. Number 1, shop for your dreams. Now, how many of you have things that you want to purchase or do in your life that you're not in a position to do right now that you plan on doing in the next 5 years? Raise your hand. You do, right? In fact, yell some of them out. What's one thing you want to do in the next, just yell something out. Get married. Get married, buy a car. Go to the beach. Costa Rica. Machu Picchu. What? Buy a plane. Buy a new house. Okay, good, good, good. So you all have things that you want to do, right, in the next 5 years that you don't feel like you're in a position to do right now. True? All right, I'm going to tell you right now a way that you can have unlimited, overnight, like right away, in a way that you'll build relationships with people. You'll have unlimited people to talk to. The biggest question, number one question I get and the top leaders get is, where do I find people? Come on, really? Where do I find people? But all of you have things. Write down 5 things you want to do in the next 5 years and go shop for them now. Go shop and talk to lots of people. Like if you're going to get married in the next 5 years, go meet with some wedding planners. Grab some wedding planner cards. If you plan on upgrading your home or remodeling your kitchen, let's say you're remodeling your kitchen, meet with some interior designers. Let them know you're going to be remodeling your kitchen. This is lifestyle marketing. Let them know you're going to be remodeling your kitchen and you just want to get an idea of what it's going to cost and maybe get some ideas from them. And you're shopping right now. Let them know you're shopping. Get their business card. If you're planning on taking a trip and you might need to talk to a couple travel agents. I found out that whatever product you represent or whatever company you represent, every industry has people in it that are hurting financially and a few that are very, very successful. So it doesn't matter whose card you have, there's a good percentage of those people that are looking for something that they can do part-time. There's a good percentage of them. And if it's a good fit, regardless of where you got their contact, but you're building a relationship with new people. So write down 5 things you want to do and then figure out, what am I going to have to do? Who am I going to have to meet in order to accomplish those things? And you know what you're going to find out? By doing it, you'll accomplish the things that you want faster. So I wasn't sure about flying a helicopter, so guess what I did? I went and I took a discovery flight. And I met a pilot, and I met the owner of the school, and I met his wife. And guess who I signed up in the business last week? The owner of the school. Brian just signed up. Now his wife is really excited. She uses the product and he's excited about building the business. But that's because I went in and I pursued my dreams. So number 1, shop for your dreams. Number 2, take trips. You know, you might be able, right now you might only be able to take 1 trip a year, or maybe you can figure out how to take 2 or 3 trips a year, but meet people on those trips. That's lifestyle marketing. People are going to ask you what you do when you meet people. When you go on a little tour, you usually meet 5 or 6 people on the tour, don't you? They're going to ask you what you do. Don't throw up on them, but give them a little bit, just a little bit, and then ask them what they do. Number 3, attend leisure events that interest you. Find things that interest you and attend those things. Number 4, have parties and dinners with your distributors and invite guests. When I was getting started in network marketing, my first successful company and this one, and I still do it today, because I'm on an airplane, I'm traveling a lot, and I'm never, very rarely am I in the same city for very long, in one city for very long. I've got a lot of friends in Phoenix over the years. I spent many years in Phoenix, and I don't see them very often. So what I do is I'll schedule a dinner at a Mexican restaurant. Now, I don't do it with the intention of recruiting, but I always invite guests, and I have them bring guests, and some of them are distributors, and we're not even there to do a presentation. We just all get together. When you put a group of distributors in a room with a bunch of guests, even if you're not there to talk about the business, guess what happens? The business comes up. And they don't feel cornered because you're not there about business, and you let them know it's not about, we're not here for business. But people ask questions, and the next thing you know, you're talking about it. So I do this, a Mexican restaurant, it costs me $12 for a meal, and I'll have 20, 30 people there. And if I sponsor 1 distributor, I pay for the whole thing. And you know, I don't even do it for that reason. Sometimes I sign up 2 or 3 or 4 people. But it's fun. And I see my friends that I don't get to see very often. And it helps to anchor those relationships. So look for those opportunities. What do I say to people? That's the second most common question that comes up, by far. What do I say to people? Well, here's what I found out. Number 1, focus on getting to know them. So it's not about what you're going to present to them. It's about asking them questions to get to know them. Find out what they like to do. Find out how long they've lived in the city they're in. Find out how long they've been doing their work. How did you get into interior design? Oh, what else do you do besides interior design? Learn about them. Number 2, I have found that you can say just about anything to someone if you have a good relationship with them. You can say just about anything to someone if you have a good relationship with them. And number 3, and I'll talk about this a little bit more, is right here I want you to write in, come here, I want to show you something. And I'm going to tell you a little story. I have found out that when I have a good relationship with someone and I've got rapport with them, I can call them on the phone and I can say, I want to talk to you about something, and what are they going to say? Because I have rapport. Steve, if I called you on the phone and I said, Steve, I'd like to run something by you, what are you going to say? Absolutely. What do you got? Jules, if I were to call you on the phone and say, hey, Jules, I want to run something by you, what are you going to say? Sure, what do you got? I don't get people that say, well, is this a pyramid, or well, what is it now, or, you know, I don't. And keep in mind, I was in 10 companies in 11 years and never signed up a single person. But I will tell you this. If you truly care about people and you show them you care because you're generous, and you're not always calling them to get something from them, you're calling them sometimes just to say hi, and you treat them with respect, and you have rapport, when you call them and say, I have something I want to talk to you about, they'll say, what do you got? That's what I found out. It's absolutely true. So I got to tell you a story. So I have a place at the Mandarin Oriental. And Eric, I don't have a timer up here. How am I doing on time? Okay. So I'm at the Mandarin Oriental. Now, I wasn't sure about this whole thing, but I got a call from my accountant. And I was living in Arizona, and he said, Jordan, do you want to have a free place in Vegas? And I said, yeah, it sounds cool to have a free place in Vegas. He said, do this. Go to Vegas, hire a realtor to take you around and look at condos. He said, if you make Nevada your primary residence, that you won't have to pay anything because your state tax savings, there's no state tax in Nevada, your state tax savings will pay for your place, your lifestyle in Vegas. Just have another place. I said, that sounds really cool. So I hired a guy who I know. He took me and showed me 20 condos, and I found one at the Mandarin Oriental that blew my mind. I love it. And I called my accountant back, and he said, yeah, it'll work. And I said, you sure? And he said, yeah. And so I went ahead and I did a lease option on the place, a 4-year lease option on this place. And it's spectacular. I love it. I had to get my car registered here. I had to get my driver's license, and I had to get my voter's registration. But I didn't change anything. I just have a place here that can come, and I'm spending time here. So I unplugged and threw away my TV sets for 25 years. When I got into network marketing, I decided that TV was not important as my financial future. And I attribute today the fact that I didn't have a TV for 25 years, I attribute much of my success to the fact that I focused on my personal development and not on watching TV. And for 25 years, you could go into any one of the little rentals I ever lived in, there was never a TV there. Now, I wanted to get a TV for my Vegas pad, you know, just a flat screen on the wall. And I decided I don't watch TV, but I'll put one in the bedroom, one in the living room, and I said I want 52-inch or whatever, 52-inch or 54-inch flat screen, basic, like I want to spend $1,500 in the living room and $1,500 in the bedroom. And I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I'll tell you one part of the story. So I go to Best Buy. And the guy walks over to me, and he goes, come here. I said, well, I just want a $1,500 52-inch flat screen for, and he goes, no, just come here for a sec. So I follow him because he goes, come here. Because when people go like this and go, come here, guess what you do? You follow them. That's what they do. When you go like this and go, come here, they follow you. In fact, a couple nights ago, we were walking through the casino. We've been with a big group of people, and we're all walking, and I'm in front of all of them. And I go, you guys know where you're going? And they go, no, we don't know where we're going. I go, because I'm out front. And they go, do you know where you're going? I go, no, I don't know why are you following me? I have no idea where I'm going. They said, because you looked like you knew where you were going. There's a real strong message in that. People will follow you if you look like you know where you're going. And then all of a sudden your income will go up. That's kind of how it works. So I go into Best Buy. The guy goes, come here, and I follow him. And he hands me, Shrek 3D is playing, and he hands me these glasses, and I put them on. It's like, and it was like better than any movie theater I've ever seen. I said, how much? He said, $6,000. It's like, I just bought a $6,000 TV. My first TV is a $6,000 TV. And that's all he did was says, come here, he put these on. He showed me. He showed me. Now, for every 50 people that walk in that he does that with, he might sell 2 or 3 TVs, but he wouldn't sell any unless he went, come here, and he showed me. That's what we do in our business. We show people. So when I meet somebody and I get their business card through my lifestyle marketing and I want to show them my business, what do I say? I build rapport. I call them on the phone. I say, I want to show you something, and I show them a video. And they say, sure, because I got rapport with them. And I'm generous. I look for reasons to be generous with people. Making the connection real fast. Some of this stuff you've heard before. Use their name. Use it multiple times. Ask them questions. Look them in the eyes when talking to them. Compliment them. Acknowledge them. Look for commonality as you're asking questions. Look for things that you have in common that you can talk about. And then not most importantly, but very, very important, don't be a stranger. Stay in touch. How many of you guys want to give yourself a major competitive advantage in this business? Raise your hand. Here's how you give yourself a major competitive advantage. Stay in touch with people. Because 99% of the people that talk to someone about their business will never talk to them again and never stay in touch with them. If you want to sponsor more people than everyone else, just stay in touch with the people you know, people you meet. Told you about going to Mexican food with friends, shopping for real estate in Jerome. These are places that lifestyle, shopping for a car, attending events, seminars. Tony Robbins, I've sponsored probably, of the 230 plus people that I've sponsored. What? Oh, am I in the way? Oh. I invite, want me to talk more about them? The slide before? That one. That one right there. That one? Okay, I went too fast through that. Use their name. Ask them questions about them. Look in their eyes when you talk to them. You know, as simple as that is, and we all know it, in the United States, we don't look people in the eye. When I was over in Holland, if you don't look someone in the eye when you talk to them, they will not do business with you. In the United States, we look people in the eye for about 2 seconds and then we look away. People will like you and trust you more if you look at them in the eye when you talk to them. Acknowledge them, look for commonalities, and don't be a stranger. Stay in touch. Just some general principles for making those connections. Real life success stories, attend events that you're interested in. When you go to seminars, do your best to meet people. And then also work in public and display your products. Just have them out. You don't need to do it like, you don't have to set up a display, but if you're in a Starbucks or something like that and you're working with your computer, just lay some things out on the table. You'll be surprised. I've sponsored probably 15 people from Tony Robbins events over the years that I just met at the events. I've sponsored at least 5 people just working in public. A couple of them were on a cruise ship. So I actually sponsored people on a cruise ship because I was sitting with my computer at the internet cafe on the cruise ship, and I struck up a conversation. I said, come here, I want to show you something. I struck up a conversation. Come here, I want to show you something. And we engaged in a conversation, and I signed up 2 people on cruise ships doing that. Last thing. Is this for me? Thank you. Bless you. All right, so I used to be in corporate America for the airline, as I mentioned. I was in management, and we used to do an exercise. What we would do is we would have, the group would watch, but there would be 5 people in the perimeter of the room. So picture this room. This is a large room for it, but picture 5 people around the perimeter of the room and 1 person in the middle. And that 1 person in the middle has a belt. And there's a yellow rope going from that belt to extending out to the 5 people that are out on the perimeter. So the person in the middle has the belt on. There's a yellow rope. Now, the person in the middle of the room is blindfolded. The people on the perimeter of the room, they're not blindfolded. What we do is we took a $100 bill and we set the $100 bill on the floor, and we said the only rule is that you can't verbally communicate with each other. Now, what's the only rule? You can't verbally communicate with each other. The goal is for the person in the middle who's blindfolded to get to the $100 bill. So some of the people along the perimeters let out some rope. Some people pull in the rope, and they guide that person to over the $100 bill. And when that person's finally over the $100 bill, they reach down and they pick up the $100 bill. Then we change the rules. We blindfold the people around the perimeter, and we unfold the blindfold. We take off the blindfold of the person in the middle of the room. Yellow ropes going from the belt out to the perimeters. Can you all visualize that? Okay. Put another $100 bill down. The person in the middle of the room can see the $100 bill. The people on the perimeter cannot. What's the only rule? Can't verbally communicate. Go. And the people on the perimeters, they can't see anything, right? So they're tugging on the rope, and the person over here is frustrated because they can't get to the $100 bill. But they can see it. And I stop the session after a couple minutes. I say, what's the only rule? The only rule is you can't verbally communicate. Okay, go. And they get frustrated again. They do it for a few minutes. They still can't get to it. I go, okay, stop, stop, stop. What's the only rule? The only rule is you can't verbally communicate. Okay, go. They still can't do it. And then finally, the person in the middle realizes they can just take off the belt, walk over to the $100 bill and pick it up. So my question for you are, what are your yellow ropes that are keeping you from getting to your goal? They're imaginary. They're not real. Take off the belt. We'll see you guys in the morning. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks, buddy.